The moon hung low, its pale face veiled by restless clouds that drifted like torn shrouds across the night sky. Below, the ruins of Ashenvale Cemetery lay steeped in mist, each gravestone casting a crooked shadow that seemed to reach for the living. The silence was punctuated only by the shrill cawing of ravens, their black wings slicing through the starlight. No one ventured here any more, at least, no one who returned. The villagers spoke of the wraith of Ashenvale, a figure cloaked in tattered white who wandered among the graves with a lantern that glowed faintly in the fog. Her presence foretold death, they whispered, and on nights when the moon was swollen and fierce, her light was said to guide wandering souls into the jaws of something far older, far hungrier than death itself. Tonight, the stories were no longer whispers, they lived. The lantern bearer. From the fog emerged the woman. Her veil covered her face, concealing what lay beneath, but her form was unmistakable, long, skeletal fingers clutching a lantern that swayed with each step. The light it emitted was unnatural, not fire, but a pallid glow like bone dust stirred in water. She stopped before two crooked crosses, her head bowed, her presence so silent it seemed the air itself recoiled. A wolf howled in the distance, and its cry echoed across the graveyard like a broken prayer. The mist thickened, and behind her, shadows began to stir. The voice in the clouds above, the clouds writhed, swelling into a grotesque shape. It was no trick of the eye, no idle formation. The darkness congealed into a face vast, contorted, and full of rage. Its eyes glowed with cold fury, its mouth stretched into a snarl that bared jagged teeth longer than a man's arm. This was the entity the villagers feared most, Nixthara, the devourer of souls, bound within the night sky itself. It had been said that long ago, Nixthara was a queen who sought immortality, and in her hunger she turned to Forbidden's rites. She feasted on her people, not their flesh, but their essence, tearing their spirits free. The gods punished her by casting her into the heavens, her body scattered as shadow, her hunger eternal. But her voice, her will, still seeped through the clouds, carried on nights such as these. And the wraith of Ashenvale was her servant. A stranger's arrival on the edge of the graveyard stood Elias, a traveler with weary eyes and mud-caked boots. He had come from distant lands, drawn not by rumor, but by desperation. His sister Leora had been taken, her body still breathing, but her soul gone hollow, her eyes vacant as glass. The healers called it a wasting curse, but Elias had heard enough whispers in the taverns to know where to look. Ashenvale. Clutching a dagger that had belonged to his father, he stepped past the leaning gates, the iron cold beneath his hands. Every instinct screamed at him to turn back, but the thought of Leora's lifeless face drove him forward. The fog embraced him like a living thing, and then he saw her. The wraith. Her lantern swung, its pale glow illuminating his path as if guiding him deeper into the graveyard. The bargain of the dead. Elias. The voice was a whisper, but it did not come from the wraith. It came from the sky, rolling through the clouds, carried on the moan of the wind. He froze. Who speaks my name? The great face in the sky shifted, its lips curling into something between a sneer and a smile. I am Nixthara, who dwells between stars and shadows. You seek the soul of your sister. I can give it to you. Elias gripped his dagger tighter. At what cost? The clouds rumbled with laughter, a sound so deep it shook the earth. The cost is always the same, a soul for a soul. Yours or another's. The wraith extended the lantern toward him. Its cold light brushed against his skin, and his knees nearly buckled from the weight of despair that poured out of it. He saw flashes of memories, not his own children dying in fire, soldiers drowning in mud, mothers weeping as the breath left their infants, all consumed, all trapped. Elias staggered back. You would have me trade my life for hers? Not necessarily yours, the voice purred. There are many who wander this land, the guilty, the wicked. Any soul will do. The wraith tilted her head, waiting. The wolf's warning. Another howl split the night. From the shadows of the cemetery, a wolf stepped forth, its fur bristling, eyes glowing with unnatural fire. It bared its teeth at the wraith, snarling deep, as if warding Elias away. The villagers had said the wolves of Ashamael were no ordinary beasts. They were guardians, remnants of the old god's punishment, cursed to roam until Nixthar's hunger was ended. The wolf snarled, its gaze locking with Elias, and in that moment he understood. To take the lantern was to damn another soul. To refuse was to lose Leora forever. His hands trembled. The choice the wraith extended the lantern once more. The sky face loomed, its gaping mouth eager, its teeth like jagged mountains. Choose, Nixthara thundered. Elias looked at the dagger in his hand, then at the lantern, then at the wolf that growled low in warning. He thought of Leora, her laughter, her kindness, her fragile body wasting away. He thought of the souls trapped in the lantern, their agony eternal, and he made his choice. With a cry, he hurled the dagger not at the wraith, but at the lantern itself. The blade struck true. The lantern shattered, releasing a blinding burst of pale fire. 1,000 voices screamed at once, filling the air with a sound so terrible it seemed the world itself might break. The wraith recoiled, her veil whipping away to reveal a face not of beauty, but of sorrow eyes endless and empty, mouth forever parted in silent grief. She dissolved into the mist, vanishing like smoke and wind. Above, Nixthara's face twisted in rage. The sky darkened, her scream thundered, and then her form scattered, torn apart into wisps of shadow that bled into the stars. The wolf howled one final time, and then the graveyard fell silent. The dawn. Elias awoke lying among the gravestones. The dawn was breaking, the mist thinning to reveal a sky free of the monstrous face. In his arms lay Leora, her eyes fluttered open, soft and alive, her breath warm against his cheek. She looked at him with confusion, then with recognition, and finally with tears. Around them, the graves were still. The lantern was gone, its light extinguished forever. But in the air, there lingered a whisper faint but unmistakable. This is not the end. Elias looked at his sister, then at the horizon where the sun rose crimson over the land. He knew the devourer's hunger would one day return. But for now, Ashenvale was quiet, and that was enough. And there you have it, folks. If you enjoyed this tale of perilous bargains and haunted graveyards, please don't forget to show your support. Your likes and comments mean a lot and help us keep bringing these stories to life. So until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep an eye out for any shadowy figures carrying lanterns, especially if they're accompanied by unsettling whispers. You never know what bargains they might be offering.